Willie, a couple questions about Braxton. Do you think you need to instill confidence in him, or do you think he's still confident? And also, you mentioned that there were guys open. Is he not seeing them, or is he not trusting what he's seeing?
I don't think we have to put any confidence in him. I just think he's got to play better, and that confidence will come in him, and then just being sure when you go back and throw. And we got to make sure from a practice standpoint we put him in those situations more often than what we do, and so he can be sure about what he's doing and where he's going and where he needs to look, and just calm down and just play. You don't have to, again, win the game. You don't have to make all the plays. Just make the right play for us. And when he get a good understanding of that, I think things will be better. But we got to help him with that.
Willie, after Braxton's first start, you said he did some good things and he did some bad things. Now looking back at how he played against Stanford, did you see him take any steps forward, or was it a case where he maybe actually took a couple steps back?
I thought he did a good job running the football. That's the one thing he looked really comfortable doing when he did run the ball for us, and he did some good things from that standpoint. It was just that early, just some of those mistakes that he made with the football was they all correctable, which is a good thing, and it just, again, for him, I think his process of each play on where he needs to go with the football and just being sure about those things. I think he'll continue to get better as we go, and again, but I think a big reason he's going to continue to get better, we as coaches going to help him continue to get better.
Talked about kind of getting more practice reps, getting more game reps and experience. Just given that you have, Allie and Burmeister right now for the foreseeable future, at least, what do they have to do to at least kind of improve the offense? Because obviously the last 2 weeks, there hasn't been much out there.
I think the big thing is don't turn the football over. I think that's the biggest issue. Again, we don't need for him to win the football game for us, but we definitely can't turn the football over. That's been 2 weeks in a row where we've turned the ball over 2 or more times. And again, when you don't have all your weapons and you can't afford to give a team extra possession, and I know a couple of those interceptions have been on first down, so it really kills drives for you and opportunities. So we got to be smart with football, take care of the football. I think if we do a good job taking care of the football, then things will be a lot better for us.
Just at this level of football, where most recruits you're getting are pretty well accomplished and everything, how hard is it to keep experienced backup quarterbacks on a roster without having them go transfer somewhere else, like maybe Travis and Terry did?
That's a great question. I think you got to ask the people who transfer. As a coach, you just try to develop and try to create an environment where it's competitive. And I think that's when you create a winning football team and a winning program, when you have an environment where it's competitive all the time. So you just got to continue to try to create that environment and recruit guys that want to be competitive and want to compete and earn their jobs. You can't do anything about anyone that wants to go anywhere else and play. That's their own right, and you wish them nothing but the best. But I think as a program and what you're trying to build is a competitive environment, and that's what you want.
Andrew?
With all the freshmen you've played this year, 6 at one time on defense on Saturday, 13 overall. Have you been, as a head coach, have you ever coached a team that's relied this much on this many true freshmen?
Probably not as many, but everywhere I've been, we've played a lot of freshmen in there, and they got better. There's no better experience than game experience. And you take your lumps. You understand it's going to happen, especially when you're playing a winning program with some veterans on that side of the football. Those things are going to happen, but you just try to make sure you're sound in things you do and put them in a good position so they can make the plays they're capable of making, and understanding that there's going to be some hiccups here and there. You just try to limit those hiccups.
You used a 4-3 defense at times against Stanford with Jelks at linebacker.
was that situational week, because of Stanford's just their run game, or do you anticipate maybe that being a more common occurrence with the depth at linebacker being an issue?
No, I think there's more of the Stanford week. As we know, Stanford is different than most teams that we face. So it was more of game plan for Stanford than anything. And I thought Jeff did a good job of adjusting, too, playing a position he hadn't played. And, again, making the plays that he was making was pretty impressive.
As you look forward to facing UCLA, you feel like it's going to be a program just as desperate as you guys are to get back on the winning side?
Absolutely. We both fighting to get a victory in a conference game. And, again, each week you're going out to try to find a way to win. So I'm sure both teams will be fired up and ready to roll, and we both need a win. I don't know about them, but I know we need a win. We need to win. Losing sucks.
Brian on the right.
You said Braxton needs to just calm down, but as a Southern California kid, do you think this will be a big opportunity for him if he plays at the Rose Bowl?
Oh yeah, it's a big opportunity for everyone. Everybody loves to play in a Rose Bowl, and I'm sure him growing up in Southern Cal always thought about doing that someday. And so I'm sure I hear some of our guys from down there now that's played in that game just talk about how fun it is to play there, and I'm sure he'll be fired up to get down there and play. And we just want Braxton to have fun. I think that's part of it too. I told him the other night, it's just don't look like you're having fun. And I know when you don't play well, of course, but I think if you start off having fun, you'll continue to have fun, and not put too much pressure on yourself. Just go do what you know what you're capable of doing, and then it'll work out.
You mentioned in postgame that Justin had thrown a couple passes last week. How much is he doing in practice for you guys right now, and how close is he to being back?
Justin really want to get back as soon as possible. It's pretty cool to watch. He walk around, he'll come by, and he always joke, "Hey, coach, I get to practice next week. We'll go next week." Knowing that he can't, but he really want to get out there. He threw the ball yesterday pretty well. I say he stopped teasing me, but he's not ready. I know he's been drinking his milk, so I'm sure he'll get back quicker than we think. And literally he's been drinking his milk. I was sitting with him at dinner the other night. He had 2 vitamin D carts right there drinking. Coach, I'm drinking my milk. That's how you gotta love him.
Your offensive line been Iron Man basically all year, with Crosby and Pisarcik going down with injuries. How do you feel like those 2 guys that stepped in for their roles in Alio and I think it was Capra filled in the second half?
I thought they did well, considering timing of them getting in. And those guys are vets. They understand, and we have all the faith in the world in them. And again, we always felt like our O-line was our strength, and probably where we have a little more depth than what we do at other positions. So again, with a good week of practice, and I think they'll take care of business.